on the issues that confront the crossing IMB. However, if taken on the political front, given the fact that the fishermen who are involved in the crossing the IMB are only limited to these two districts, it is not as serious an issue in terms of Tamil Nadu domestic politics. Yes, politicians and the Tamil Nadu state government, along with the union government, does take up the issue with the government of Sri Lanka. But if you really look at the impact is far lesser. And Kachitivu, I think with Kachitivu, the government of India did not succeed the territory. What it did was that it claimed that the Kachitivu island is not part of India. And under the Indian scheme of things, if the union government has to redraw the border anyway, it needs the ratification of the parliament. In Kachitivu, the government of India said that this island is not part of India, and once it has been given, I don't think it can reclaim. The entire issue with Kachitivu is again with Tamil Nadu, again with the Ramanathapuram district and Tamil Nadu. And if you look at the fishing resources in and around Kachitivu, I don't think there aren't many fishes in Kachitivu, and there aren't any fish in the Indian side of the Park State. So that basically, I think, despite the concerns of Sri Lanka, I don't think we should blow it out of proportion.
Thank you very much, Sima. And questions?
Please, madam. I'm also at WBMC from meeting 30. My question goes to Madam Nirosa Vedasinghe. Madam, we know our society there are disabled peoples are separated at some occasions, especially in educations. They are given educations at separate schools in separate ways. But using those devices, will they be able to get the educations like normal human beings? Because it will help to eliminate that feelings that I am disabled, which is created in their minds.
Thank you very much for the question. Actually, the assistive technologies, you're talking about the assistive technologies, right? Yeah, so it is not, by providing assistive technologies, it is not saying that they are separated from the other able people. So they are not disabled actually. They can do the same thing in differently, right? So it is not a discrimination. That's why we now we call them as differently able. So by providing these assistive technologies, it is not a discriminator actually. So giving some, it is actually eliminating that disability digital divide. So I believe it is helpful for them to have the same technologies and whatever the things, but the people who are getting, the able people are getting, these people also have rights to get the same thing. So for example, we are watching films and everything, right? So by providing different technologies and also we give the same opportunity for them. It's not a discriminator, according to my viewpoint. Thank you.
Please try to help them out.
I'm thinking even there, sir, my question actually one of you back to the maritime issues. Question is back to the Commander Joseph. And with regard to this maritime illegal poaching, and we have actually a Navy with a very good record of discipline, especially I want to get back to the 1987 when the Lanka Peace Accord was signed, because the Navy conduct of the Navy, when Indian Navy was approaching the territory, was highly commended everywhere. Even many books I have found. So now, and so I have my own doubts to say now. Continuing this arrest now, because with India now they have hundreds and hundreds. But here the case is now we also find our people also accidentally maybe they are crossing the line. So they arrest. So that they are subjected to two laws, one in India and one in here. Now we, for an example, we may arrest 500 illegal poachers here and they are subjected to our laws. But they, with a single our poacher, they can do a huge thing in a political platform. So the problem here is when the can we solve this out at the sea itself? Because now we have a navy, we have our navy, naval southern commander can directly talk to the Indian southern commander. Even officially, it has been the authority has been given, and we can yes, sir, the authority has been given. And for an example, can the navy can go beyond that? For an example, like in Nepal, Nepal chief of staff is considered as a honorary general in the India. So can the navy themselves can go an extra mileage towards it? Because when you brought these people, because this is an issue with regard to civilians, when you brought them on the ground, then it gets different dimensions. I would like to get some views from Commander Joseph.
So thank you very much for that question. I think Sri Lanka Navy have got a lot of capabilities in terms of handling this poaching issue. There are certain restrictions, regulations placed on us. Now, single mistake someone does not see largely emerge as a political issue, very sensitive in terms of international relations between Sri Lanka and India. So we should not forget that. So keeping that in mind, certain SOPs have been followed by the Navy, and I should comment on being faculty law. Navy is not silent. Navy has been given very clear-cut regulations and instructions to follow. Arresting need to be done when an order by certain superior authorities. So when that is being done, Navy is capable of arresting even thousands at a single night. But the issue is we cannot cross the IMBL as professional Indian Coast Guard. The Navy never does that. So we also never do that. So we can do that in terms of that's what I mentioned. The most applicable recommendation that we can find out now is to continue arresting in the form of what we can do. Because if somebody is doing something illegal, this option is to arrest him and bring forward for courts. Apart from that, there are other measures that I cannot tell here. We will not go into that level. It's a very sensitive issue for sure. Because you can see, before 2009, many trawlers did not come to our waters simply because they knew there's a doubt between terrorists and trawlers. They used to take the cover of Indian trawlers, and we have many issues. So, but now the situation is totally different, and it's got a very political sensitivity behind this, and you can see in the media. So, with the time permits, I think we have started on arresting in the recent past. So that's why the August figures have gone down. So hopefully we will continue.
We have elaborated much on this maritime issue, and also about the question of Sri Lanka Navy Commander become an honorary admiral in the Indian Army, Indian Navy. It doesn't happen that way. There's a reason why the Nepal Army Chief becomes an honorary general in the Indian Army. That is purely because there is a majority of the Gurkhas are serving in the Indian Army. So that is the reason why it was done. Otherwise, then they would have made the Bhutan chief also honorary general of the Indian Army. So, and making honorary rank also won't give any solution to this kind of problems. So, therefore, that's totally out of question. Any more questions? We can take one or two maximum. Can't hear.
My question goes to Professor Gardner. Your non-discretion and element in decision making strategies, military strategies have always been on the non-rational way of decision making. If it is rational, it will never become a strategy of new strategy. Once strategy is implemented, it is no longer a strategy. So my question is, how could you identify this non-rational element in decision making where intuition, feelings are also within the gamut of rational aspects? Will you be able to demarcate the line between the rational and non-rational in making decisions?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think you have been insisting on this particular issue for some time. Now, my argument is, if you are looking at the rational, purely rational decision making, according to the management literature, it has to be done in such a way that there is a significant procedure involved, and also there is no way that the decision maker can go away from the procedure. My argument is that when you are at the battlefield, when you are a senior manager, if you are a junior manager, if you are maybe a person who is below the major level, perhaps he or she will carry out the orders. But here, the senior echelons will come to a certain juncture where he or she will not be able to follow the rational model, taking all the variables, all the information, and systematically analyzing them and doing that. All of a sudden, the emotion of the person or the imagination of the person will come into play a dominant role. As a result of that, perhaps that decision would not be a rational decision. Although it looks like a rational decision because other things are all given to the decision maker. There are situations where we will not be able to follow that model according to the rational decision making model. Now I will be able to tell very exactly after I do the analysis of the data, perhaps if they will agree that I was unable to take a rational decision, I was compelled to behave this way, then I took a decision very differently. So after the questionnaire and the survey will be done in Sri Lanka and in Canada for sure, but the third one, New Zealand, we will be able to come out with some. Perhaps I will try to moderate my hypothesis, saying that, as you said, they have been rational according to, but you have to have some clauses or some basic changes to the prevailing theory on rational decision making. Why it is. But in other areas of research, there are many examples where the people have not been able to behave in a rational way. So I'm trying to see, or I'm expecting to see, that this kind of evidence will be available in the literature, in the strategy and war area as well.
Thank you, Professor Itano. I think it's time for us to conclude the session. I will not take much time on debriefing or summarizing the speakers because I have already done. And finally, I would like to thank the presenters, Ms. Nirosha Vidisinghe, Professor D.S. Vitana, Ms. Vasana Panditratna, Mr. Sanath De Silva, Commander Rohan Joseph, for their valuable contributions towards educating us on the given topics. And may I kindly request you to give a round of applause to recognize their contributions.